Hello friends and fellow parents, welcome back to my channel once again today. Today in this video, I'm going to discuss something really very important, and that is 20 smart ways to encourage our children to read. Why I chose reading? Reading because it is one of the most fundamental skill a child needs to be successful academically and also during the course of their lifespan. Reading helps them build very good analytical skills. It helps them increase their attention span. It also encourages them to think creatively. However, each child learns and processes information differently. Some children have a natural love for reading, others may or may not have. So in case the child has natural love for reading, all you need to do is offer your child the right environment and the right books, and the child will be ready to get onto reading on his or her own. But the challenge comes in when the child does not show much interest in reading. How do we tackle that? So the first and foremost important thing is we need to identify what makes the child not enjoy reading. So we need to find out in the first place what is it which makes the reading not a very enjoyable thing for the child. Is it that the child finds it a very monotonous or a boring chore? Or is it that the child finds it difficult to read? Or is it that the child hasn't found the right book? So once you have identified the reason that why your child is not liking or is not enjoying to read, then half the battle is won. So we need to work in that specific area and support our child. So I will start discussing now the most important ways to encourage our children to read. The first and foremost is that we need to create reading opportunities and reading area in our house. You can select a corner or a space in a room where your child spends the maximum time and set up a reading corner with the books of your child's choice. You need to follow the interest of your child and select the books accordingly. The second way is to encourage your child to read at home or in between wherever you get an opportunity. It could be as simple as that you encourage your child to read labels, to read billboards, to read number plates. Whatever you come across, you encourage your child to read. Thirdly, you need to be very consistent because consistency is the key in this scenario. If your child will not be reading every day, the interest will not build up to read over and over again. All you need to do is ensure that you give enough support to your child and offer books of his or her interest. The very most important thing that you have to set yourself as an example in front of your child. So that would really boil down to the fact that you also need to read along with your child or in front of your child. Maybe book, magazines, newspaper, or for that matter using Kindle for an ebook, because this would help your child identify that the reading process is not boring, rather it is something which is enjoyable and pleasurable. In case you identify that your child is finding it difficult to read, so you need to help your child build his or her language skills using phonics, because phonics will make the reading journey and the entire process very comfortable for your child, because your child will be able to sound the letters together, construct a word, and eventually will be able to read the entire sentence. I have recently done a blog on phonic books on my blog www.mymotherhoodstudio.com. If you would like to read and learn more about phonics, you may visit my blog. Another very important thing is that you need to identify age-appropriate books before offering it to your child. If I'm going to offer a book which is meant for a 6-year-old to a 4-year-old, the child will eventually get frustrated because child will not be able to read independently or may not enjoy the topic or the amount of information available in a 6-year-old book. So you have to be very cautious while picking the books either from the library or from an online resource, or if you are buying a physical copy of a book. Always ensure that you're checking the reading level and and match it to the reading level of your child, and then only make the right choices for the book. Next is that it is really important that you offer a variety of books to your child. So try to incorporate different genres, which may include fiction, non-fiction, comics, mystery, sci-fi, or biographies, whatever you think would interest your child, or if you know the current interest of your child, try to incorporate those books, because if it is something interesting or which your child enjoys a topic, it would encourage your child further to read more. The child attention span and the duration for which the child would read that book would eventually increase. Always talk to your child about the book what your child is reading. This would help you understand whether your child is able to comprehend the book or not. Always ask questions like, what is the book about? What happened in the beginning of the story? What happened in the middle of the story? What happened at the end of the story? What is your favorite part of the story? All these questions would encourage your child to get into a conversation with you, and it would also encourage your child to read more and share his or her experience about that specific book or story with you. And this would really build their comprehension skills to a next level. Another interesting thing which you two can do together is create a reading log. Reading log would help your child document the book which your child is reading, for how long the child read that particular book, which day the child read that book, and it can also include the remarks of a specific book, which may be the highlight of the book, the best thing what the child enjoyed in that book, or something which the child did not enjoy. So a reading log is a simple tabular format wherein you talk about the day, date, time, title of the book, author of the book, and remark from your child. Please do have a look at the format I am sharing in this video. Another super interesting thing which you can do along with your child is watch book-based movies after the child has read that specific book. For example, Julia Donaldson's picture books have been translated into animated movies like The Highway Rat, The Gruffalo, The Gruffalo's Child, and also The Room on the Broom. You can also watch Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Dr. Seuss, The Cat in the Hat. These are some very popular book-based movies which you can enjoy with your child. Next is always encourage your child to make connections between the book your child is reading to the real life activities. This would encourage your child further. They would actually see things what they read happening in the real life situations. This would give them a lot of confidence and also boost their morale to read more and more, because they would realize that what I'm reading is not going waste, or it is not something which is not worthy. They would realize the worth of what information they are acquiring by reading a book, that they are able to put it into their real life experiences. Another way to instill love for books in young children is to incorporate book-inspired or book-based activities. So once your child is done reading the book, you can offer them activities which is related to the book. It can be an art and craft activity, a science activity, or a math activity, or a role play, depending on the book what your child has read. Next, you can take this entire book experience to another level by helping your child celebrate the best book day or the author's day. You can encourage your child to dress up as their favorite book character or as their favorite author. This you can do in collaboration with other parents or children who are your child's friends. So you can organize one of the days which can be the book character day or a author's day. Probably meet up in the park, dress up their favorite characters, and read out stories to each other. So this would really help them encourage and talk and discuss a lot about books. This would further help them, build interest in reading, and also realize the fact that it can be a very entertaining and enjoyable activity. The most important thing, if you have a privilege to visit to a local library, then please do use this privilege to the maximum. Ensure that you visit the local library along with your child at least once a week. This would help them encourage reading more, they would explore the library, they would see how books are organized, how the books are categorized, how other people are reading, how they are finding it enjoyable to read. However, if you are not able to visit a public library, or if in your area there is no public library, you can also opt for a bookstore. Bookstore also offers a great opportunity for children to enjoy or experience a reading space which is in a common premises. So that is also another great idea to incorporate in your child's routine. Another really interesting thing which you can have your child experience are book literature festivals and book fairs. While we were residing in India, we had the opportunity to experience Bookru Literature Festival being organized in Delhi, and also we attended Delhi Book Fair. Both the experiences were phenomenal for us and for our daughter, because she experienced an author narrating from his or her own book, enjoying book-based activities, listening to stories along with other children sitting under a tree. There were venues in the book fair where the entire section was just meant for different books for children, and there was so many new things which we discovered. We rather came across such new publications which we otherwise wouldn't have come across. So these two are again great opportunities for you to encourage your child to read. You can also utilize the technology and the various reading applications available nowadays to encourage your child to read. Though I always prefer physical books over e-books, but in case if you are struggling that your child is not showing much of interest in reading a physical book, then there is no harm trying a Kindle, or an audiobook from Audible or from Epic is another reading application for which I have recently done a video and a blog on my website. You can have a look to get more details about the same. So you can incorporate technology and utilize its benefits and advantages to encourage your child to read. So please do use technology if required to motivate your child, so that once your child comes on track, you can switch your child back to physical books. Next, there is no space in the house where you cannot have the book. So why not utilize your kitchen space also as a reading space? Encourage your child to cook along with you. So you can have some simple cookery books meant for children in your kitchen space, wherein you encourage your child to read the recipes from the book, also learn about measurements, which would also enhance their mathematical skills, because they will be reading the quantity required for each ingredient. So you can use cookery books as a great tool to encourage your child to read. Another thing is you can start a reading club. You can have few parents and their children get together, and you can start your own reading club wherein you can exchange books, exchange stories, have reading get together in a park or any other common spaces. This would also instill a lot of love for books in your child. It would also give opportunities for your child to interact socially with other children, and also to discuss and review each other's thought about the same book. They can discuss their opinions, they can discuss their thought, and you never know, they may come up with something really creative. Now, the most important thing that you need to continually support your child. Help identify where your child is facing any challenge or difficulty. If needed, please connect with the teacher of your child at school and work together to help your child get onto the journey of reading in a smooth fashion. So you need to continually support your child without burdening your child, without creating pressure and stress that your child has to read. Also, never mix studying and reading together. They both are different activities altogether. The moment you would try to bring the two together, the child would lose interest. So please do not pressure or burden your child for reading or for studying, either of the cases. Let your child follow a gradual process, and I'm sure you and your child will be successful in the process of reading. Last but not the least, please ensure not to make reading frustrating, rather a very, very enjoyable pleasurable and a relaxing experience. If possible, incorporate reading into different routines of your child. It could be even bedtime routine for your child, so that when before your child goes to bed, you read aloud to your child, or you encourage your child to read on his or her own any one book before the child goes to bed, or probably one chapter from a particular book. So I hope these 20 smart ways would help you encourage your child to read. In case you want me to delve deeper into any one specific way or more than one specific way, please leave your suggestions in the comment section under this video. I would be really happy to help and come up with another video series. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell button to get regular updates and notifications.